Like, being a low maintenance friend is not an excuse to be a sorry friend. She just didn't feel like I was putting in enough effort in the friendship, right? Because as a Christian, we aren't supposed to just be worried about ourselves. You can't separate me from what I'm doing. That's what I'm trying to say. Some people do not have the capacity to acknowledge you. I do not want to have people around me that are intentionally not supporting me. So, like, what is it that you're doing again? Hey family, welcome back to Carmi B TV, my side of the tube of you. It's the tube of me, amen. Today I'm coming to you guys with a highly requested topic. It seems like it's a hot topic of the year. It's really boiling down to support. Social media, are you entitled to your friends' support? Now, this is my point of view. I want this video to be interactive. Though I'm already pre-recording this clearly, I want you guys to be in the comments because I genuinely want to know about your point of view. So in this video, we're going to discuss, do your friends owe you support, and high maintenance versus low maintenance friends? And maybe where do you fall, so you can kind of get clarity about it and know how to show up in your relationships, right? So what I will say, to give you a little context, I've been seeing a lot of people on social media talk about when maybe their favorite creators or people that they follow on social media, they just stop engaging in their content, like they think it's beef. And for me, I just had an unpopular opinion where I felt like I don't think it's beef. Like, I don't think that if I follow you on social media, especially if you create content all the time on an almost daily basis, it's not beef if I don't see or comment or like every single thing that you do. Like, I don't think that's beef. We may just not see it because of how the algorithm works and all of the things. However, someone then said, because I put a question box up and I was like, I know this is my POV, and this is kind of how roles and what we talked about kind of switched. Someone then wrote me and said, unpopular opinion, you aren't entitled to your friend's support. So my response was very, very unpopular. I'd love to deep dive on this more, which is why I'm bringing it to YouTube. I definitely understand both sides, but will say boldly, though not entitled, in quotations, to it, I don't want friends who don't show their support, whether out loud or in acknowledgement of some sort. You can be my acquaintance if you don't, but not my friend. Okay, let me explain. Let me break it down. So they were basically saying, you're not entitled to your friend's support. And for me, I feel like that's just like a play on words. Like, saying entitled, okay, yeah, nobody's entitled to anything. However, at this big age, I'm almost 30, I do not want to have people around me that are intentionally not supporting me, because for the work that I do, I feel like you have to be intentionally not supporting me. Why? Because a lot of my work is front facing. I'm always in front of the camera. I'm always posting. It's kind of hard for you not to see what I got going on. And for those people that I'm not friends with them anymore, or they're not friends with me, it's probably so annoying because nobody wants to unfollow each other, but you're going to always see what it is that I'm doing. So if someone isn't supporting me in a way of, when I said, like, whether it's on social media, whether it's out loud or in acknowledgement. What do I mean when I say acknowledgement? It's simple. Y'all sitting down having a conversation. They're like, girl, now I know you do this social media stuff. Like, so can you help me with this? Or not even help, but like, I know you do this, like little comments like that, or help me pose. You know, you're good at stuff like this. I'm really not. Or, you know, or even referral, like somebody saying, well, I'm looking for somebody to do XYZ. You like, okay, I know Carmi, she's been creating content. She's a brand strategist, like all of those things. That's the kind of behind the scenes support, but it's still in acknowledgement and referral. What is the opposite of that? This is what people have done to me and what I've seen people do to other people. So like, what is it that you're doing again? Knowing you know what I do. You know what I do. Maybe, I think sometimes it's hard for people to think that you're doing the same thing that their favorite person is doing, because the numbers, like maybe the math ain't mathing with the income that you're getting yet, or the actual follower count. But it's the same level of work. Like I always say, I'm not no different than my favorite creator. I'm putting in the same amount of work. My shoot days, my content days, all of that stuff is just as strenuous as theirs. Now theirs, of course, they have more on the line and maybe a little different, but it's not, our work is pretty much the same. Don't add or take away from what I'm saying, because you can read between the lines on what I'm saying. And I've always felt like that. So for somebody to say, So like, what is it that you do again? Like, so do you only work with the one brand? Do you work with, it's like, babes, I'm a content creator, I'm an influencer, I do this full time. That's what I'm saying. Or the whole like, just lack of regard. Like, so what's been up with you? Like, what are you doing? Girl, creating. Oh, I know somebody that, like, the whole just confusion. Baby, I don't got time for that. I don't have time for that. And people do that. They will do that. They will try to play you like that. And for me, you're not going to play me like that. You're just not, period. Like, I work too hard. I do too much. It's the beginning stages. And a lot of times it's hard for people to understand that that's the only thing. You're just at the beginning stages of your career. And that's really it. So when that person said, I'm not entitled to support, no, I'm not entitled to my friend, supporting me, acknowledging me, referring me, all of those things. But if you love me, you also would love the extension of me. It's almost like if I had a kid. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would assume that if you love me, you love my kid, right? Or if you just saying, well, I love you, you can't separate me from what I'm doing. That's what I'm trying to say. You can't separate me from my work, especially the type of work I do. Like, it's all encompassing. So, like I said, I disagree with that. So I got on live today and we were talking, and a lot of people were saying how they understand. And then we kind of talked about high maintenance versus low maintenance friendships. Now I am a low maintenance friend. I'm a low maintenance friend. I do not require much from my friends. I do not need you calling me all the time. I sure don't need you popping up on me. I mean, I'm good with a good voice memo, every now and then. Now, there's some friends that I like to talk to them a little more often. We're on the same page. We're doing life together. Okay. But we still are talking on voice memos, scheduled calls, things like that. I don't really need my friends to do a whole lot for me. I'm a very independent person, and this may be trauma responses or whatever, but I've just never leaned on my friends in that type, like a way like that. Now, I'm not saying that being a high maintenance friend is wrong. I'm just saying I am a low maintenance friend. I understand that. I gave an example of, I actually have a high maintenance friend who was very honest with me back in our college days, I think. And she was basically telling me I wasn't bringing enough, like I wasn't doing enough. It wasn't that I wasn't a value add. She just didn't feel like I was putting in enough effort in the friendship, right? And I thought about it because I'm like, well, dang, maybe I'm not. But anybody, like, this is the thing. I don't need 50 high maintenance friends. So if 50 people came to me saying that, I would be too overwhelmed. I can't do anything about it. But for that one friend, she was a value add. She's my sister in Christ, somebody I've cried to, somebody that knows my hopes and dreams. We've had highs, we've had lows. For you to tell me that you need me to do more and show more, bring more effort to the table, I obliged. I did that because I'm like, it's worth doing it. But even with that, I'm still a low maintenance friend. But I can step outside of myself sometimes. I can do additional check-ins. I can, support you in different ways. I can do a check-in, like all of those things. I can step outside of what I would usually do to make you feel like this friendship isn't just one-sided in terms of effort. Because for me, I've always been a value add as far as like any of my friends, you call me 911 or whatever, I'm there. I'm the friend that people come to for advice. If you are somebody that I get advice from, we're the type that we're bouncing off of each other. It's, I'm that friend. All my friends' kids, I didn't kept dang near raised most of them. Like, I am a value add friend. I am a solid friend. But as I've gotten older, I realized the way that I was a friend back maybe even 2 or 3 years ago, I do not have capacity to be that person anymore. Why? Because I'm building. I'm in a building season. And I think I'm not giving being a low maintenance friend is not an excuse to be a sorry friend. Like I said, if somebody that you value tells you that they need more from you and you want to see the relationship flourish, you give more. However, I don't need everybody coming to me with that same old line, because it's like, okay, listen, baby, I'm not going to be able to do that for everybody. And I realize I'm in a season where I'm building. Like, money be funny sometimes. Change is strange. I'm trying to keep my mental health. I'm trying to, I done just got this dog. Like, I got a lot of things going on. That's just that. I'm not talking about family things. I'm not talking about my own mental struggles, my own struggles spiritually. I'm not talking about my own, just different things. I'm not even talking about that. So I think sometimes people can be a little selfish to low maintenance friends, because you don't even ask, why are you low maintenance? Why haven't you called? You just want people to do things for you. Like, I've learned sometimes high maintenance people, it's like the ego thing, and you're like thriving off of, you want to be affirmed for some reason. And I'm not in a season where I can do that whole maintenance thing right now. Like, I need my friends to know I love you down. You are my friend. I love you. But I am not in a season where the only way you know I love you is if I'm calling you every day, or if I'm texting you every day, or if no, I need you to hold fast to that love that I gave you whenever I was giving it to you consistently, and just know my character. Like, I have that trust that people would just remember and know my character. But what I'm learning is that when you aren't available for people, and when you start saying no, you start to realize how people just fall off. It's like, no, that doesn't really benefit me, or no, that doesn't serve me. And you really see how people feel. And that's when I learned, like, okay, I'm not going to be so quick to give out a yes. Like, I am going to, the first law of nature is self-preservation. Preservation, child. Whatever, y'all. I hope y'all know what I'm saying. I feel like you got to give and take with that, because as a Christian, we aren't supposed to just be worried about ourselves, right? Like, we're supposed to be trying to our best to be God-like, Christ-like, others first, and those things. However, when I also read my Bible, I know that Jesus went away to pray, and he went away to be by himself certain times as well. So you have to kind of give and take. Like, I think I'm just saying I'm a low maintenance friend, just because that's my nature. It's not because I'm trying to be mean, I'm trying to be rude. That's just my nature. My mom will tell you, my sister will tell you, like, growing up, my grandparents will tell you, like, I'm the type, I can literally be by myself. I can be in my room by myself. I don't really want to be bothered. It's not even about friends. Sometimes I'm like that with family. Like, I just don't want to be bothered. Nothing's wrong. I just always had been like that. I remember I was in, pre-K? My mom said she would ask, like, okay, how did Carmi do at school today? And they would say, she did good. She hogged the swings. She wanted to swing all by herself, all alone, all on lunch. I used to play by myself. I'm very, very self-sufficient. So my saying that I'm a low maintenance, it's not with this new age, high maintenance. No, it's just who I've always been. My grandparents, they thought for years I didn't have any friends. And I had friends. They just did not believe me. Like, you don't have any friends? Yes, I have friends, y'all. I'm just, what? So I feel like sometimes, again, people can use the low maintenance, high maintenance thing as an excuse. High maintenance people can use it to get their ego stroked and be affirmed. And low maintenance people can use it to just be sorry. I'm not using it for either. I'm literally saying that this is just who I am. And I think going into relationships and just being upfront with your character, who you are, what you bring to the table, I think that's the best policy. What I think could happen was that a lot of times, a lot of these friendships that we've had, they may have been childhood friendships. And then people get grown and we get more set in our ways and we don't feel like we got to explain nothing to nobody. And what happens is nobody is sitting down having these adult conversations that aren't combative, especially like as women, because, women, we can be a little combative and we think everything is like personal, and it's just not. It's not. If I don't answer the phone, baby, it's nothing. It's probably more than likely nothing personal. More than likely. Now, it may be, but more than likely it's not. I'm just over here in my own world. And again, that's no excuse not to show up to the occasion. And I don't use it as one. Like I said, when I had a value add friend tell me that I need to do more, I started to do more incrementally. Now, that didn't come overnight, but I had to really consciously say, okay, let me make this an effort to do this and that. So I think with all of that, with the support, with the high maintenance and low maintenance friends, when it comes down to like where I'm at now when I make friends, I'm not really accepting anybody in my circle that don't support me. Like, I had to deal with that for at least 4 years straight, like maybe 3 years. 3 years consecutively from different people, from family, from friends. When I started my business, and then when I started influencing, the sly remarks, like all of that, it don't feel good. I don't want to shrink. And more times than not, if you're not supporting me, I'm going to feel like I have to shrink in some way. Versus that friend that you go out with and they're like, girl, take my, like, do this. Like, and you're like, oh, like, I didn't even realize I had trauma from that until literally, I'm going to give this example. I went out with my friend Jazz, and I referenced her a lot. Y'all seen her on the vlog. And she was like, her and her other friend, they were like, take our picture. Like, you do good at this. Like, help us out. Like, you going to get that content. Like, just different things like that. And I felt so affirmed. And I'm like, why does this feel almost even weird to accept? And it's because I am rarely in circles where people are, like, acknowledging what I do. And it's not even that you just got to say I do it. I ain't got to be a favorite creator, but I am out here. This is what I do. I get paid from it. And even if before I was getting paid, I was cultivating community and influencing, And so I just was like, dang, it just felt so good. And I just was like, I don't know. And so I realized those are the feelings that like, I want those friendships. I want those feelings. Now, again, friendships aren't all about ego stroking. It's not about, you ain't got to be ego stroking me. This ain't what that's about. It's just a simple fact of support and acknowledgement. Like, if I know my friend is a doctor, if I'm sick, a small way that I can acknowledge them is like, hey, I don't want to be a bother, but, you know, I've got this going on. Like, do you know what this could be? Versus, like, every time I'm sick or every time, you know, something's going on, it's like, I mean, are you a doctor? Like, are you? No. Like, you get what I'm saying? It's just kind of condescending. And I don't think people view, you know, that's just a whole nother topic. People don't view influence and content creation. They don't respect the field. That's just what it is. They don't really respect it. And they sure don't respect me because I'm just now getting in it, right? Or to them, though I've been doing it, but to them it's like, no, you ain't got enough. I remember one of my friends, I guess you call, was like, well, my other friend told me it take a long time before you can get paid on YouTube, I think, or just paid with brands or something. It take a long time. I mean, they could have just been being honest, right? Like, they could have, but that wasn't the connotation I got. What I felt was like, I would, I mean, like, because I think they were even saying something like, well, we would do it, but it just take a long time. Not even opening their eyes to realize what I'm doing now is I'm knocking down the time by actually starting and doing it. But instead of just saying, oh, you got this. And then again, I don't blame them. Baby, they didn't have capacity. And that's what it really boils down to. Some people do not have the capacity to support you. Some people do not have the capacity to acknowledge you. Some people do not have that capacity. I've learned that. And what has happened to me more times than not, they always come back and say, I'm sorry. Like, I see now what it was, or blah, blah, blah. Like, because for one, I'm not crazy and I'm not unreasonable. So like I said, I know for sure I'm not arrogant enough to think that everybody that follows me, all of my friends are going to like every single thing that I do. Baby, I'm not arrogant to think that. But listen, if there's no acknowledgement, there's no support, there's no nothing, it's like, so, I mean, when do you ever kind of speak into my dreams and what I'm doing? Because I can't help but do that to somebody that I'm around. Like, you cannot be my friend and I not speak into your life. I not add value into your life. And because what I'm doing is so front facing, I need that too. Like, I need that. And I'm sorry, I'm just not putting myself in position to where I don't get it. And that's just like a hard fact, like, just period. And I was on the live and Callie earlier was saying that she thinks that people use the word friend too loosely. I have been guilty of that. Y'all, and then it's funny because even when I used to say that's not my friend, people used to make it seem like I was being mean. I'm like, that's not my friend. Like, they think that I'm their friend, I guess, but they're not my friend. Because to be my friend, there's a responsibility. You know what I'm saying? And again, hear me when I say, I'm not saying you got to kiss my butt, but I'm saying to be my friend, I don't just need people around just to take cute pictures. I need people. We live in a world where we're fighting spiritual warfare. We live in a world where people are falling away from Christ. We live in a world where people are denouncing Christ. We live in a world where people need to know him better. We live in a world where we need to get our mental stability and health like on track. We live in a world where people are reproducing, kids and not putting in the right thing. Like, with all of that's at stake, I can't afford to be around people that don't understand the weight of just the world. Not even just me, the weight of the world. And then because of where God is calling me and what I'm called to, what my place is in it. You know what I'm saying? So I just think sometimes people, Jesus had 12 disciples. But why do you think Peter, James, and John were the closest? I always say this. Why do y'all think those are the ones that went to the Mount of Transfiguration with him? Those are the ones that he appointed in Acts to go out and perform the miracles. Why? Y'all, I don't expect to have 50 people riding. I don't even expect to have 16, 15, 10. I don't. I know for sure, and I've learned through seasons that everybody is not meant for the peaks and the valleys of it all. And I realize a lot of it boils down to the whole support, communication, showing up for your friend. People thinking that because you're a low maintenance friend, you may be mad at them if you don't like. It's like, communicate, y'all. Communicate. Know yourself. Communicate. It's no different than a romantic relationship. There has to be some boundaries. There has to be, non-negotiables and things like that in order for a relationship to thrive. So that's just kind of been, you know, where I know this video is probably all over the place, but these are my thoughts on like supporting social media, low maintenance versus high maintenance friendships, the responsibility of being a friend, all of the things. So if you have anything to add or anything to, maybe you disagree with something that I said, I want to talk about it. Like, I want to talk about it. I want to know. I just felt so led to just bring this video over here for our Wednesday upload because I've been talking about it on Instagram stories. I went on live and we talked about it. So follow me on Instagram if you aren't already at Carmi B. Smith, and you can go watch the live where we talked about this. But yeah, I just feel like this is a conversation that's worth having. I think friendships change, seasons change, all of the things. But one thing that you should know, especially, I'm almost 30, like, understand what it is that you need and what you require. And I learned through all of those circumstances that I went through that I definitely need friends that acknowledge me, even if they don't support me in the way that I like it. Support isn't always likes and shares. You may have a product-based business, they may buy something from you. You may, you know, do makeup and they may buy you some makeup brushes. I mean, you know what I'm saying? You may do content creation, they get you a tripod. And not even that they don't have to do that. But I'm just saying that's a way to support that's outside of likes and comments. They can refer you, they can acknowledge you. They could just send you a text message. Like my cousin, she's so cute. She texted me yesterday, and she was like, she texted me all of my recent videos on YouTube, and she said, not my life not allowing me to keep up. Like, basically, she ain't been able to keep up. That's a form of acknowledgement and support. It's the fact that I haven't been able to watch your stuff, but now that I see all that I missed, dang, I didn't miss. And then she also said, they look good. You've been doing a great job. Like that, those little things that affirm you, like, okay, like, thank you, little cuz, like, I appreciate that type of vibe. And that's what I need, because this work, what we do, what we're called to, is already hard enough. And I want to do what I'm called to with people that believe in that call and can speak to it. I think that's what I'm saying. Like, I need people around me that know where I'm going, and they aren't so selfish to only be worried about them. If I tell you no, I can tell you no for a year straight because I'm building. If that's the case, and you internalize that and think it's about you, or you only want to talk to me or deal with me when I can do something for you, that's not the friend for me. It's not. So anyway, I would love to hear y'all's thoughts. I feel like this video is long enough, but let me know in the comments how you feel about this. If you're new here, I would love it if you subscribe. If you watch this whole video, you may as well. You know I'm your girl. This is my side of the tube of you, the tube of me, and I will see you guys in the next video. Love y'all.
There's no need for us to rush.